Hello, students. Okay, so we are going to read Julius Caesar, Act 1, Scene 3 today. And I thought I would bring Daisy to come help us because Daisy loves to help with schoolwork so much. Look at her. Clearly she loves this. We're on page 833 in the textbook, if you were wondering. And as this scene begins, what's happening is there's a huge thunderstorm in Rome. Okay, so like thunder and lightning, there's a downpour, it's pretty crazy. So that is what's happening. And Cicero and Casca are going to be talking to each other.
Good even, Casca. Brought you Caesar home. Why are you breathless? And why stare you so?
Are you not moved when all the sway of earth shakes like a thing unfirm? Oh, Cicero, I have seen tempests when the scolding winds have rived the knotty oaks, and I have seen the ambitious ocean swell and rage and foam to be exalted with the threatening clouds, but never till tonight, never till now, did I go through a tempest dropping fire. Either there is a civil strife in heaven, or else the world, too saucy with the gods, incenses them to send destruction.
Why? Saw you anything more wonderful?
A common slave, you know him well by sight, held up his left hand, which did flame and burn like 20 torches joined, and yet his hand, not sensible of fire, remained unscorched. Besides, I had not since put up my sword. Against the Capitol, I met a lion who blazed upon me and went surly by without annoying me, and there were drawn upon a heap 100 ghastly women, transformed with their fear, who swore they saw men all in fire walk up and down the streets. And yesterday the bird of night did sit even at noonday upon the marketplace, hooting and shrieking. When these prodigies do so conjointly meet, let not men say these are their reasons, they are natural, for I believe they are portentous things unto the climate that they point upon.
Indeed, it is a strange disposed time. But men may construe things after their fashion, clean from the purpose of the things themselves. Come Caesar to the Capitol tomorrow.
He doth, for he did bid Antonius send word to you he would be there tomorrow.
Good night then, Casca. Oh, this disturbed sky is not to walk in.
Farewell, Cicero.
Okay, let's pause for a second. So what's happening right there is there's this big storm, there's a lot of lightning and thunder, but Casca's talking all about all these weird signs that people are seeing. Have you ever known people to kind of, like, I think of conspiracy theorists, like as soon as something goes wrong, people are like, oh, well, you know, that was completely rigged, you know, or, oh, yeah, I completely saw, blah, 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 blah. He's talking about there are lions walking around the streets of Rome. No, there aren't. He says there are men walking in the streets that are on fire. That's not a thing. Like, that's not real. Have you ever played the telephone game where, you know, you just whisper in somebody's ear and maybe it's something really simple, and by the time it gets around a whole circle of people, that little sentence has grown and it's grown and it's been embellished and it's gotten better. It's gotten more interesting. Suddenly you have this really weird thing that you have to say that makes absolutely no sense. Man, that's what's happening right here in this scene. Is Casca's just talking about a lot of craziness. You know, think of what's happening now in our world. There are some people who are like, it's it, this is it. This is the big one, the world's about to end. And then there are, you know, probably most of us just sitting back going, well, hope things get better. Yeah, you know, I'm probably usually going to try to err on the side of just keeping things normal and not seeing too much craziness. So, it's weird.
Who's there?
A Roman.
Casca, by your voice.
Your ear is good. Casius, what night is this?
A very pleasing night to honest men.
Whoever knew the heavens menace so?
Those that have known the earth so full of faults. For my part, I have walked about the streets, submitting me unto the perilous night, and thus, unbraced Casca, as you see, have bared my bosom to the thunderstone. And when the cross-blue lightning seemed to open the breast of heaven, I did present myself, even in the aim and very flash of it.
But wherefore did you so much tempt the heavens? It is the part of men to fear and tremble when the most mighty gods by tokens send such dreadful heralds to astonish us.
You are dull, Casca. And those sparks of life that should be in a Roman you do want, or else you use not. You look pale, and gaze, and put on fear, and cast yourself in wonder to see the strange impatience of the heavens. But if you would consider the true cause, why all these fires? Why all these gliding ghosts? Why birds and beasts from quality and kind? Why old men, fools, and children calculate? Why all these things change from their ordinance, their natures, and preformed faculties to monstrous quality? Why? You shall find that heaven hath infused them with these spirits to make them instruments of fear and warning unto some monstrous state. Now could I, Casca, name to thee a man most like this dreadful night, that thunders, lightens, opens graves, and roars as doth the lion in the Capitol, a man no mightier than thyself or me in personal action, yet prodigious grown, and fearful as these strange eruptions are.
So Casius, so Casca's like, oh my gosh, crazy night, lions and men on fire. Casius doesn't shut him down. He's not like, hey, Casca, you're being crazy. Casius is like, well, you know why that's happening, don't you? That's happening because Caesar is trying to take over. So all these signs and scary things that are happening, it's because of Caesar and the terribleness of him becoming king. This means something. It means we've got to do something about this. We can't let this happen. So Cassius is using Casca's fear against him.
'Tis Caesar that you mean, is it not, Cassius?
Let it be who it is. For Romans now have thews and limbs like to their ancestors. But woe the while our fathers' minds are dead, and we are governed with our mother's spirits. Our yoke and sufferance show us womanish.
Indeed. They say the senators tomorrow mean to establish Caesar as a king, and he shall wear his crown by sea and land in every place save here in Italy.
I would just like to point out again, whenever Cassius says, our fathers' minds are dead, and we are governed with our mother's spirits, our yoke and sufferance show us womanish. My modern interpretation says that must be filled with awesomeness is what he means, because, women are awesome. That is not, in fact, actually what he is saying. He's saying that they seem weak because of this. Tisk, Cassius. And so Casca is saying, oh my gosh, Caesar means to make himself king in the Senate tomorrow.
I know where I will wear this dagger then. Cassius from bondage will deliver Cassius. Therein, you gods, you make the weak most strong. Therein, you gods, you tyrants to defeat. Nor stony tower, nor walls of beaten brass, nor airless dungeon, nor strong links of iron can be retentive to the strength of spirit. But life, being weary of these worldly bars, never lacks power to dismiss itself. If I know this, know all the world besides, that part of tyranny that I do bear, I can shake off at pleasure.
So Cassius is planning on taking a dagger from now on, and hey, he's not going to be a victim. He's going to take matters into his own hands with his own weapons if he needs to. That's something. He's not going to let a tyrant rule him. No, Caesar, not for Cassius.
So can I. So every bondman in his own hand bears the power to cancel his captivity.
And why should Caesar be a tyrant then? Poor man. I know he would not be a wolf, but that he sees the Romans are but sheep. He were no lion, were not Romans hinds. Those that with haste will make a mighty fire begin it with weak straws. What trash is Rome? What rubbish and what awful when it serves for the base matter to illuminate so vile a thing as Caesar. But oh grief, where hast thou led me? I perhaps speak this before a willing bondman. Then I know my answer must be made, but I am armed, and dangers are to me indifferent.
You speak to Casca, and to such a man that is no fleering telltale. Hold my hand. Be factious for redress of all these griefs, and I will set this foot of mine as far as who goes farthest.
Okay, so Casius actually is talking a lot of stuff about Rome. Like, he calls Rome trash. He talks about the people in Rome are like just like weak sheep and Caesar's a wolf. He says their hinds are deer and Caesar's a lion. That the only reason that Caesar can do all these terrible things is because Roman people are so weak. Because Rome is weak. He is saying a lot of like anti-country sentiments right now. He's saying some pretty terrible things about his country. And then he's like, oops, I may have said too much. What if you love what's going on? And Casca's like, no, I'm with you, buddy. Absolutely.
There's a bargain made. Now know you, Casca. I have moved already some certain of the noblest-minded Romans to undergo with me an enterprise of honorable, dangerous consequence. And I do know by this they stay for me in Pompey's porch. For now, this fearful night, there is no stir or walking in the streets, and the complexion of the element in favors like the work we have in hand, most bloody, fiery, and most terrible.
Okay, Cinna comes in.
Stand close a while, for here comes one in haste.
Cinna. I do know him by his gait. He is a friend. Cinna, where haste you so?
To find out you. Who's that? Metellus Cimber?
No, it is Casca, one incorporate to our attempts. Am I not stayed for, Cinna?
Oh, I'm glad on't. What a fearful night is this. There's 2 or 3 of us have seen strange sights.
Am I not stayed for? Tell me.
Yes, you are. Oh, Cassius, if you could but win the noble Brutus to our party.
Be you content. Good Cinna. Take this paper, and look you lay it in the praetor's chair where Brutus may but find it. And throw this in at his window. Set this up with wax upon old Brutus' statue. All this done, repair to Pompey's porch, where you shall find us. Is Decius Brutus and Trebonius there?
All but Metellus Cimber, and he's gone to seek you at your house. Well, I will hie and so bestow these papers as you bade me.
That done, repair to Pompey's theater. Come, Casca. You and I will yet ere day see Brutus at his house. 3 parts of him is ours already, and the man entire upon the next encounter yields him ours.
Oh, he sits high in all the people's hearts, and that which would appear offense in us, his countenance, like richest alchemy, will change to virtue and to worthiness.
Him and his worth, and our great need of him, you have right well conceited. Let us go, for it is after midnight, and ere day we will awake him and be sure of him.
Okay, so Cassius has them help him with his plot. Remember, he's going to take all those pieces of paper, the little notes that are supposed to be from different Roman citizens, saying, hey, Brutus, you're our guy. And that's Caesar. He's got a lot of ambition. And they're going to throw it. They're going to put those pieces of paper in convenient locations where Brutus is going to be like, oh, what's this? Brutus, you're the best. Caesar's ambitious. We're scared. And he's going to be like, Roman citizens admire me, and they're concerned about Caesar's ambition. But remember, all of these notes that Brutus is going to find have all been written by Cassius. No Roman citizens are actually writing notes to Brutus talking about how awesome he is. That's not a thing that's happening. So Cassius's little plot, he's got Casca in with him. He's got Cinna in with him. He's got a few people he already had. And this whole situation, his goal for Act 1 was to get Brutus. Brutus who is honorable. Brutus who is well respected. He needed to get somebody good on his team. Think back to gym class whenever you were little. and maybe you had a team filled with, you know, people like me who maybe are not very good players. You needed that one person on your team who could bring it home, right? You could maybe win if you had a really awesome athlete on your team also. That's kind of what he needs. He's got a lot of shady people, kind of similar to him, on his team that want to bring down Caesar. He needs somebody who's a fine, upstanding citizen on his team. And if he has that, he thinks he can actually accomplish bringing down this guy who's trying to make himself a king right now in Rome. Okay, so that is the end of Act 1. That is how things are going. I don't think it's too difficult. Please let me know if you have any questions, if you have any concerns. But right now you should be able to go ahead and complete those Act 1, Scene 3 study questions. I'm also going to put the video of Act 1 on like Friday's date for you to watch. And I'm going to go ahead and schedule a Zoom class so we can talk out a little bit about what's happening. So let me know if you have questions, concerns, anything's going on. But I think it's kind of an interesting place so far. If you like politics, if you like a little bit of strategy, if you like political intrigue, this is a cool play. Okay, I'll see you guys later.